Amid the intensity of modern MotoGP competition, there are rare moments that make the entire racing world suddenly pause. Not because of a championship battle, but because of a terrifying accident that reminds everyone that behind the fierce rivalries, the riders are still human beings. And this time, the shocking news involves two of the most controversial names in modern MotoGP history, Valentino Rossi and Marc Márquez. After more than a decade of a heated rivalry that divided the MotoGP world, a horrifying crash involving Álex Márquez has reportedly become the beginning of something that once felt impossible. Peace between Rossi and Márquez. Could it be that a tragedy on the track has finally softened a feud that many believed would never truly end? Let's discuss. It all began with the massive crash suffered by Álex Márquez in Barcelona. The incident was described as one of the most horrifying accidents of the season. His bike was completely destroyed, with debris flying across the circuit at speeds exceeding 200 km per hour, while other riders desperately tried to avoid the wreckage in an extremely dangerous situation. For several seconds, the MotoGP paddock fell completely silent. No one knew how serious Alex's condition was at that moment. Even some security staff and mechanics, who are used to witnessing major crashes, were reportedly shaken by the violence of the impact. In the middle of the tense atmosphere, rumours quickly emerged and immediately shook the MotoGP paddock. According to several internal sources, Valentino Rossi reportedly began searching for detailed information about Álex Márquez's condition right after the accident happened. Rossi was even said to have spoken with several people close to the Ducati camp before eventually taking a step no one could have imagined, personally calling Marc Márquez on the phone. For MotoGP fans, the story sounded almost impossible to believe. For more than 10 years, Rossi and Márquez were never just ordinary rivals. They became symbols of two generations colliding with each other. Their rivalry did not stay only on the racetrack, but evolved into a psychological war that divided MotoGP fans all around the world. Even today, the name Sepang 2015 remains a sensitive topic capable of sparking heated arguments across social media. That is why the image of Marc Márquez seeing Valentino Rossi's name appear on his phone screen feels almost unreal. According to circulating rumours, the conversation reportedly started in a very cold and awkward way. Rossi simply asked about Alex's condition. Marc answered briefly and thanked him. There were no strong emotions at the beginning of the call, only long pauses that felt heavy, like two people carrying too much painful history between them. But slowly, the atmosphere began to change. As the conversation shifted towards serious accidents and the fear of losing someone, their rivalry reportedly started to feel much smaller compared to the reality that a rider's life had just been put at risk on the racetrack. Valentino Rossi was said to have spoken more openly about how incidents like that can leave deep trauma for anyone inside the paddock. He knows very well what it feels like to see a rider lying helpless on the asphalt without certainty about their condition. As someone who has spent decades in the racing world, Rossi has witnessed countless tragedies. Many believe that moment may have reminded him of names like Marco Simoncelli and Luis Salom, two riders who lost their lives after fatal motorcycle racing accidents. Experiences like those are believed to have made Rossi understand that the line between a normal race and a tragedy can change in only a matter of seconds. On the other side, Marc Márquez was also reportedly willing to open up during the conversation. The 8-time world champion was said to have admitted that he experienced a terrifying moment when he saw his brother being taken away from the track after the crash. And at that point, for the first time after years of a Cold War, Rossi and Márquez were reportedly speaking not as rivals, but simply as human beings. So many people in the paddock believe that a major change has slowly been happening to Marc Márquez over the past few years. The long and devastating injuries that nearly destroyed his career gradually changed the way people see him. In the past, Marc was known as the unbeatable rider who always bounced back after every crash. But multiple surgeries, constant pain, and the fear of losing his performance have made him appear far more human than ever before. The same thing seems to have happened to Valentino Rossi. Now that he is retired from MotoGP, Rossi no longer lives under the pressure of racing every weekend. Many believe his perspective on old rivalries has also started to change. When someone steps away from a world filled with emotion and fierce competition, they often begin to realize that years of hatred are far less important than human safety and life itself. Interestingly, if these rumors are true, everything happened without cameras, without press conferences, and without social media posts. There was no attempt to create a public image, no staged peace photo released to the media. Just a private conversation between two MotoGP legends who may have finally realized that holding on to hatred for too long changes nothing. The news immediately sparked huge reactions among MotoGP fans. Some people simply cannot believe that the relationship between Rossi and Márquez could suddenly thaw. Many fans still feel that the wounds from the past are far too deep to heal. But on the other hand, there are also fans who believe this is a moment that should have happened a long time ago. After everything they have given to MotoGP, perhaps the racing world truly deserves to see these two iconic figures finally make peace. What makes this story feel so emotional is the fact that everything was triggered by a terrifying crash. In just a matter of seconds, Álex Márquez's accident seemed to erase all the ego, rivalry, and long-running conflict that had dominated MotoGP for years. When a rider crashes violently and everyone fears the worst, nobody thinks about world championships or old feuds anymore. The only thing left is the hope that the rider can stand up safely again. Meanwhile, the atmosphere inside the Barcelona paddock after Álex Márquez's accident was reportedly extremely tense and emotional. Many team crew members and riders immediately searched for updates about Alex's condition after the massive impact that destroyed his bike on the track. Some Ducati mechanics were even said to be standing silently while watching the medical monitors with deeply worried expressions. The incident once again reminded the entire paddock that even with all the advanced safety technology in modern MotoGP, the sport remains incredibly dangerous. At speeds of more than 300 km per hour, a single small mistake can change everything within seconds. That situation is believed to be one of the reasons why the relationship between Valentino Rossi and Marc Márquez has slowly started to soften. According to several rumours from inside the paddock, their phone conversation after Alex's accident was said to be far warmer than many people expected. There was no longer the angry tone that once defined their relationship in the past. Many believe that age, experience, and the serious injuries Marc has suffered over the last few years have changed the way he views rivalry itself. And perhaps that is the biggest message behind this story. Motorsport is filled with rivalry, pressure, and ruthless battles. But in the end, everyone in the paddock understands the same truth. Behind the helmets and motorcycles capable of more than 300 km per hour, they are still human beings risking their lives every single weekend. Now the question remains, is this truly the beginning of peace between Valentino Rossi and Marc Márquez after years of Cold War? Write your opinion in the comments below.